Hello and welcome to this week's WandaVision recap show. I'm your host Grant Liston, a very bored Englishman. So, as always, spoilers. If you haven't seen this week's episode, please go and watch it, then come back here please, thank you. Oh, wow, my Hydra theory is looking like crap right now, isn't it? I mean, Christ. This episode is by far their best episode. Really gripping stuff. I was engaged from start to finish. I mean, where to start? I mean, really, where do I start in this episode? It's kind of got like two different story arcs going on at the same time. What's going on in WandaVision land and what's going on outside of what Darcy refers to as the Hex. And both stories are just incredible. So we'll go with the outside of the Hex story first. You've got Darcy, you've got Monica and Jimmy Woo, my all-time favourite character now, and they're all discussing how to get back into the Hex and try and save Wanda, but obviously the unnamed suit general guy, director, whatever you want to call him, he's obviously making plans to basically kill Wanda because that's what, military people do all the time. It's kind of a silly trope now, isn't it? Meanwhile, actually it's Westview is the actual place. I keep forgetting to call it Westview and I just call it WandaVision land because it's WandaVision land to me. So they have their babies and already I'm thinking, oh great, children actors. These guys do a pretty good job actually. I try not to be too harsh on children actors. I just don't care for them. But these two playing Tommy and Billy, pretty fun, and there was some really interesting moments for me, whereas aesthetically and little subtle things they did there that made me go, oh, that's pretty cool. For example, I can't remember which twin is which one. I'm sorry, that's on me for not researching properly. But obviously you've got one of the twins dressed in red, and he could possibly be Wiccan, and his red is to symbolise he does magic tricks, and he's also teaching their new dog Sparky tricks and whatnot. I thought that was quite interesting. And the other kid dressed in like silver and blue and is like emulating Quicksilver, and so he's probably going to be Speed, the other child, and he was always rushing about each time. So I thought those tiny little things there were really interesting for me. But moving into the big time of this episode, so many questions come about. I mean, so it's kind of looking like Wanda is the bad guy. And okay, so when this episode starts, you see these like security clips of Wanda breaking into this facility where Vision's corpse is being held. I want to see a 10-minute sequence of Wanda breaking in, wreaking havoc and taking the body. I know we saw bits and pieces on the monitors, but that is kind of dark and twisted and I loved every second of it. I want more of that. So one of the first questions is, how was Wanda managed to rebuild and revive Vision without the Mind Stone? How is this going to be incorporated later? Of course, Vision is none the wiser, and his arc through this episode is fantastic. He starts talking to a work colleague and actually enters his mind and sort of has a real talk with him instead of the superficial talk they have in the process of this show. And the guy is just so scared and he keeps saying, you have to stop her, you have to stop her. So straight away I think, it's not Wanda, is it? Can't be. If they're going to play the pronoun game, it's never the obvious answer. Stop her could mean anyone, and the whole episode is kind of manipulating you to look at Wanda as the new, villain of the piece. I don't think it's that simple. Now, if you were to let me divulge into my madness, yes, okay, my Hydra theory is looking like crap, we've established that already. Now let's look at another theory. That it's something to do with the storyline of the House of M, where the witch, whose name escapes me again, I'll do better research later, but she's manipulating Wanda. So how about this for a theory? It's probably been said a million times before, but I want to get my voice out there as well. So let's say the nosy next door neighbour, Agnes. I suspected from my very first episode I did that she's not quite what she seems. She always mentions her husband, but we've never actually seen him. So maybe, just maybe, outside of WandaVision land, this woman has approached Wanda and said, how would you like to be, happiest beyond your wildest dreams? All you need to do is follow this plan, revive Vision's body, and you can have everything you ever wanted For reasons unknown, that's the bit I get stuck with. So reasons unknown, here's what I can do for you. So she's manipulating Wanda to create this world. Maybe she's drawing power from Wanda. We're not quite sure where this is going to go, but maybe there's so many different variables to take in right now. I can't keep up. And once again, this show just gets tension building. Like, incredibly so. They really, really ramp it up. Like, even in the very first scene when Wanda and Vision are trying to get the babies to sleep, they're babies at this point here, rocking them asleep, and then next door neighbour Agnes walks in, and Vision says, no, don't touch the children, you know, like, I'm overprotective parent. And she freezes and says, do you want me to do that again? Shall we go from the top? Like you would if there was a mistake in, you know, film and television. Vision sees this and says to Wanda, what was that all about? And Wanda just plays complete ignorance. No, never happened. No, you're hallucinating, Vision. You know, you haven't slept in days. Nothing's going wrong. So that kind of supports my theory more that Agnes is in on something because she knows that she's in a television show. But the tension building throughout it goes eerily silent. I love the eerie silences through this show. It's brilliant. It's absolutely phenomenal. And then, okay, you guys probably have the same problem that I do. You see the length of the episode, like 46 minutes. You think, great, 46 minutes, no adverts, play. And then like the last 15 minutes of the episodes are just the credits. And there's so many credits to go through. This show actually got to a point where I thought it was going to end, and I was getting ready to set the camera up and have a chat with you guys. But it wasn't, and it was the bit where Wanda comes out and faces the entirety of S.W.O.R.D. with everyone pointing guns at her, and total badass can I add. She's got a battle jacket on and she's ready to go. She throws the drone at their feet and is like, stay out of my way and I'll stay out of yours. You know, couldn't put it simpler if you tried. And then she goes back into the Hex, and like it goes that big establishing shot, and everything's woofing. The technical term, I suppose, is woofing. And she's also somehow manipulated the minds of all the soldiers to stop pointing their guns at her and pointing them at the boss. She's gone pretty psycho, it seems. But I'm saying she's being manipulated. And of course, finally we get to the big ending. Wanda and Vision have their massive row because Vision can't remember his life before moving to Westview. And he desperately wants answers, and the doorbell rings. And instantly, me being me, I just went, oh, that's going to be Agnes again, because the running joke through this episode that she just keeps turning up when they need something, you know, like very, very much on cue. Wanda goes to open the door, and there's this big pause, and she can't believe her eyes. It's Pietro, her brother. Now, I called this from my very first episode, because the actor is not the original actor who played Pietro. This one is actually Evan Peters, who played Quicksilver in the Fox's X-Men universe. So now, my inner nerd has perked up big time, because now we have established that this guy is playing Quicksilver in the MCU and in Fox's X-Men, which could easily usher in the age of the X-Men. I'm looking forward to that, to say the least. Oh my god, right, I'm really, really excited. I can't even speak properly. The mutants might be coming to the MCU. I don't give a flying monkeys about the Fantastic Four, or Moon Knight, or Inhumans, or Eternals. I couldn't give a flying monkeys. So, minor nerdgasm aside, I am very, very much looking forward to this. Now, I suppose the only thing I wasn't actually quite keen on was, funnily enough, this end part again. The reveal of Pietro is fine, but he's doing this weird New Yorkie, like, hey, Tony accent, and I'm, I didn't like that at all, but that's just me. Anyway, what did you guys think of this week's episode? I mean, I loved it. But let me know in the comments below, and feel free to like the video, share the video, and I'll see you all next week. Take care now.